Hi, I'm Karole Kurnow. Today I want to talk just a little bit about software for the home embroiderer. I've been embroidering by machine for about 10 years now, and in all that time I've had software that I can use to personalize designs by adding names or wording, by moving elements around in designs, by recoloring designs, and also by digitizing my own designs so that I can embroider my original patterns. Well, in all this time, I've been using a PC and software written for the PC. That was the only choice. Now, they've come out with software for the Mac, and there are a few different packages available. I thought I would like to explore those and introduce some of them to you. The first one that I want to introduce is called MacBroidery. Here's the box. And as you can see on the box, it's lettering software for the Mac. So that means you can't digitize your own designs using this, but you can easily add lettering to your designs, which is a really nice thing. And most of the time that's what people want to do with embroidery at home. Well, there are a few things about this program that I think really deserve mention. The first one is it's very affordable compared to buying a really complete version that allows you to digitize. This is a very affordable program, usually around $499 at this time. It also, the second thing, does not require a dongle. Okay, what's a dongle? A dongle is a security device that many software manufacturers have started to include with their packages, and you plug it into a USB port on your computer, and if the software doesn't detect the dongle, the software won't run. If you don't have the dongle, you can't work. So this version of software doesn't have a dongle. It's just on your computer and you can use it whenever you have your computer, which is great because I have gone places, not had my dongle, and not been able to work. You're not going to have that issue with this software. Another thing that is great about this software is just the number of fonts that's included. There are 100 fonts built into this software. 100 fonts is a lot. That is a lot of fonts. And they're great fonts. They're fun fonts. There are small fonts, big fonts. You have many, many choices, and I'll show you some of those on the computer. Okay, here I am at my computer, and this is the welcoming screen for the MacBroidery embroidery lettering software. As you can see, there are 11 design templates from which to choose. These range from simple text to multiple lines of text, text with another embroidery design, morphed text where you can make the text curve up or curve down, and you can also frame an embroidery design with text at the top and bottom. Now, as I mentioned, this program has 11 design templates, 100 digitized fonts, but it also has 50 border designs, 102 applique designs, 75 decorative accents, and 50 decorative frame designs. So it really does come with a lot of features. It's very easy to use. All I do is click on the template and say OK, and you'll see on the right side of the screen a simulation of what my embroidery would look like on a garment. Now, they've put in a flower from their design library, but I could change that to something else. The text is also very easy to change. I highlight it, type in something different, and say apply. I can change the color of the text. I click on the color I want and say apply. I can change the font. Here I can just scroll through all the various fonts and pick one. Here's one called Bottle Pop. Kind of reminds me of the writing on the Coca-Cola can. But you'll notice because this is a larger font and has kind of a trailing tail on the K, it ended up cutting through the flower. I don't like that. So let me show you how easy it is to move it. You just grab it, drag it around the screen until you find a place where you like it, and just let go. Now I can change other things about the font. I can change the envelope, which is where I can choose to have it curve upward or downward in an arc or swoop or look like a pennant. Or I can choose a freeform distortion where I can drag the lettering out into a shape of my choice. I can change the slant to make it more italic or less italic. I can change the size of it. here's a nice feature. I can change the spacing by putting in a higher number, click apply, it spreads out the lettering. You can change the fill pattern from a smooth satin to something with a little bit more texture. You can change density so that the stitches aren't as close together but instead are spread out and more airy. It even has a drop cap feature where you can change the first letter and last letter with reference to the center line so that it's on a little different plane than the rest of the lettering. Now across the top of the screen there are icons, and if you hover over them it will remind you what they're for. So if you click on the big T it says Add Text. If the one next to it says Add Design. Click on that and you'll see the options. Here's where you can add an accent design, applique design, border design, a frame design, or something from your own embroidery library. Let's add a frame. I'll just pick one of these here. Here's kind of a nice oval one. And click apply. And it gives me a tool and I just click on it and I start dragging, and you can see I can drag this frame somewhere around my lettering. I like it kind of close in at an angle there, and it's touching the K, so I can go back afterward and select the frame and then kind of make it a little bigger or smaller or rotate it different ways if I would like to. So it's very easy to work with it. There's also another feature called garments, and you'll see there's various garments where you can choose to click on something and see, well, like, what would it look like on a baseball cap? Oh, it's too big for the baseball cap. So what would it look like on a nice blue apron? Oh, I kind of like that. Here I'll click the panning tool and I can pan through the design and see, oh yeah, there it is. It really would look okay on an apron. So there's a lot of different features bundled with this software. Now one thing I want to talk about, if you go to save it, you'll see that it says .brfm under file type. That's a program file. So let me just briefly explain the difference between the program file and the stitch file. The stitch file is what your sewing machine needs in order to make the embroidery. The program file is what we've just been working with here. The program file is where you make your choices of font and you can change designs and move things around. Once you've created the program file, then you write it into a stitch file for the embroidery machine. The stitch file can't be changed. Once it's written, that goes to the machine. That just does what it's been programmed to do. The program file is where the changes are made. So what's nice is to save your work as a program file first, save it on your computer, because you might someday want to use the design over again, or you might want to change it just a little bit and use it again. And every time you make a change in the program file, you have to write a new stitch file that then you put on some kind of media that your sewing machine can read, or you send it to your sewing machine so that you can sew it. Alright, one idea would be, in this case, for example, let's say I want to make aprons for me and for a friend. So here's the design for my apron. I can go back in, click on the name, and instead of Carol, say, let's make this for Judy, and click apply. And right away in the program file, it remembers my choices that I've made of coloring, font, spacing, all those things. And it saves the rest of the design and just changes the name. So this is really a good use of the program file. Now if I wanted to stitch this out, as I said, I'd have to make a new stitch file for the Judy version as opposed to the Carol version. Well, I've been able to show you many of the features of this software. It really does have a lot going for it, and I think that anyone who likes to do monogramming or personalizing of their designs would really enjoy working with this software on their Mac computer. So all in all, I think that this is a great program for someone who really just wants to do a little simple editing to designs, a little bit of enhancing and personalizing to what they embroider.